The following video took place on March 12th of 2014 and featured a young man in his apartment. He had taken residence in this apartment 2 years ago and planned on calling it home throughout his entire time at university. However, little did he know that one event would happen that would put him off the place forever and frighten him from ever visiting again. After the metal box fell, the activity stopped, and the man was left sitting there in utter confusion. He had no idea what on earth just happened, and would not be able to explain it if you paid him to do so. This event was so concerning to him, though, that he contacted the owner of the apartments and let him know that he would no longer be paying rent, and the place would be vacated within a week. He then proceeded to take residence at his grandma's. Children are the most innocent forms of human on the planet, and it really needs to stay this way. When they are exposed to frightening things such as gore or the paranormal world, it can have a very concerning effect on them, and this happened to the child in the next clip. His name was Thomas, and both his parents and daycare workers referred to him as a little angel. He never did anything wrong and was the perfect child, but little did any of them know what he was about to go through. It was 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and Thomas was messing around with his new toys. He had no idea that he was the one who was about to be messed with.
Which one? The orange one. And the green one. Come on.
Somehow the bowl slid itself across the table without any human interaction, and it was very clear that no strings or affecting items were in contact with it. Fortunately, the bowl managed to knock something over, otherwise the parents would have never noticed and would not have checked the cameras for this footage. Now, after releasing this video, it surprisingly received a lot of hate, with the audience claiming that it did not look real in the slightest. The mother of Thomas, on the other hand, was not going to take these claims lightly, so released another video featuring her son in the same location. This time around, a lot more movement happened on the tabletop, as well as a bang coming from the door. In the last clip, Thomas was not able to realize what was going on, so everything was fine. But in this one he did, and he was traumatized to say the least. For the following nights he struggled to get any rest, and was permitted to stay absent from his school by his mother. Due to a lack of updates, we do not know if the boy eventually got over the incident, but all we can do is hope. Now most of the clips that I showcase on this channel are fairly complex and need some analyzing to truly understand what went on. The upcoming video, however, is nothing like that and features some of the most basic paranormal activity out there, but this came in a humongous quantity. So much haunted stuff happened within such a short time period that even I struggled to keep up with things, and I bet you will too. Take a look. All sorts of items started moving in the same room, but there was one specific incident which I wanted to zoom in on for you guys, and I am going to do it. Roughly 23 seconds into the clip, a dark item could be seen gliding across the camera, and I would like to take the obvious assumption that it was the figure of a ghost. Feel free to make your own mind up on what it was in the comments though. Now that was spooky enough for the owners of that house, but what if I told you that on the exact same day they captured something else that was arguably just as terrifying? After witnessing the catastrophe in the other room, they took it upon themselves to check every single camera in the building to try and figure out what caused the incident, but all that they found were more incidents. In this room, a clock started going crazy, and surprisingly, this turned out to be quite a promising lead as to who this spirit belonged to. The owner of the house's father had passed away a couple of years back, and he was a clockmaker. What made this so important was that the clock on the door was actually created by him, so it made sense why he would fiddle with it. Homes are supposed to radiate a feeling of safety and belonging to everyone inside of them, but sometimes they do not live up to that role. For example, when a house is haunted by a poltergeist, the place is often going to feel cold and unwelcoming, which is the complete opposite of what you would want. Well, this was the reality of the woman, Bethany, who filmed the following piece of footage. It took place on a Sunday morning, and Bethany was ready to go to church. Little did she know that the opposite of the holy was standing right next to her and did this. Strangely, the light started to move by itself, and towards the start of the clip, I had my doubts about it being real. The clip started with the light shaking, so it was highly likely that Bethany gave it a nudge before filming. At least that was what I thought until I got to the end. When the light came to a standstill, I assumed that the video would end that way, and we would be left in the dark, regarding the validity of the footage. The saving grace was that it started shaking again, even after coming to a stop, which assured the viewers that this was a real sighting, and it must be taken seriously. Schools are usually full to the brim with life, and we do not usually see them in any other way. It is extraordinarily different to picture a school with barely anybody inside of it, but the employee in the next video was working late, and he lived through that experience firsthand. He explained that it was not creepy to him because he was used to it and worked late every other week. However, for the first time ever, he became terrified, and this moment was captured on video.
Alright, I'm just finishing up putting up decorations for the students when they get back. I was on the smart board setting things up. I'm taking a step back, and you guys know me. I stay late often. It's just me here and the janitor. And let me show you. Do you see? I mean, is that not a kid sitting right there? That's it. Just me.
Weirdly, there was an odd figure that seemed to be sitting at one of the desks in the same room as the employee. The kid who usually sat in that desk was called Oliver, and he was super brain-rotted. He spent all day shouting words like skibbity and Riz, so the employee claimed that having a spirit taking his place was not such a bad thing after all. He did retract this statement when he realized the story behind it, though. A girl who attended the school actually passed away in hospital a few hours before the clip occurred. So from the looks of it, the jigsaw pieces came together for the employee. What he saw was the girl exploring the building for one last time, and this fact made things much worse for him. Angel was a family-orientated woman who had a strong belief in God. She was a devoted Christian, and as well as trusting the words of the Bible, she also thought that spirits and the afterlife were factual concepts, so she was not too shocked when she figured out that she was being haunted. That does not speak for her fright levels, though. It was 10 p.m. on a school night, and Angel had just finished getting the children to bed so that she could watch some television. It was at this moment that she received a Ring doorbell notification, and thank the Lord she did not decide to go and look at the scene herself, using the camera instead. What looked like a little girl in a dress could be seen in the door glass, and as if things were not creepy enough, it vanished out of thin air after a few seconds. Now, to Angel's dismay, after posting this video to the internet, she received a lot of uncalled for backlash, as people thought that she had faked the sighting for clout. Unlike most people, though, she decided to be brave and respond to the controversy, defeating the haters for good.
Okay, so this is the area. The door that it was like standing inside. We don't have anything or keep anything in this area because it's a walkway and it would be really awkward. And then this is where the security camera is. So when I looked at the footage, I expected to see a person. I didn't expect to see that though.
After this debunking video, people finally believed her story, and the comments suddenly became favorable to Angel. Many people offered spiritual advice and explained that she could always come to them for help, which was very heartwarming. And we know that Angel is now in a safe place. In the outskirts of New Mexico, a plastic bag could be seen floating in the sky, and some of the residents decided to start filming it. This was because they believed the bag was suspicious due to it not flying in several directions and staying completely still, which are both highly unlikely scenarios when something with such a low weight takes flight. Eventually, though, they realized that what they were staring at was not a plastic bag at all. Out of nowhere, the bag disappeared into thin air, and everybody on scene was left very confused. Nobody can explain this event to this day, and the leading theory was that there was a very dark object that it went behind despite the people on site, denying any other buildings being present. On October 17th this year, a security team was operating as per usual in the security room. They were all sitting down laughing with each other, knowing how easy the money they were making was. In their 7 years of being together at the establishment, they had only had to deal with a singular break-in, and it was an elderly man who could not escape them for his life. However, little did they know that this particular night was a much more serious one. The time reached 10:23 p.m. when all of their laughter came to a stop. you look closely at the door on the right, a white silhouette could be seen until it suddenly vanished. Fortunately, the camera picked up this motion, and the guards were able to go and check it out with no success, of course. The following video took place in an old and abandoned secondary school, which was shut down by the government for a very disturbing reason. Before this reason came about, it was a prospering school with over 2,000 students attending every single day. It had no problems and was rated very highly across all education monitoring companies until one horrible day arrived. A member of staff, rumored to be one of the caretakers, found an unalive student in one of the bathrooms before the school day, and this caused a massive shockwave of events, including a huge investigation. This investigation lasted several months, and none of the students were able to attend their school for this period. One day, though, the problem was resolved, and the school was shut down for good. Due to the property being of poor standard, no one was interested in purchasing the site, so it was kind of just left to rot. It was said to be haunted by the child who suffered their end within its premises, and the man who filmed the upcoming clip put that to the test by visiting the abandoned site. Take a look. As the man behind the camera expected, the theory of the building being haunted turned out to be factual, and after seeing the swings move by themselves, he dashed out of the premises. After the event, he posted the video to the local area's Facebook page, to which he received a bad reputation, as people believed he had faked it for some cheap attention. All I'm going to say is that it looked extremely real to me. Everybody in town knew that Dave was one of the hardest workers around. For the past 2 years, he had barely left his basement as he was working on an all-new business idea, and it was finally starting to pay off for him. He was beginning to earn money that he would have if he had followed the employee route, which was his goal after all. Anyway, this is besides the point. He was in his basement at 11 p.m. finishing up some mock-ups when all of a sudden he heard some noises as if something was in there with him, and instinctively he decided to go and check what caused it. For a few moments he did not find anything but thought it would be smart to try and verbally communicate rather than search. This is how that plan went.
There's definitely something here. Let me try something real quick. Is there anyone here? What the f? Did the teddy bear just fucking move? What the fuck was that? It's a fucking orb. It just got really fucking... What the f...
that you that moved that teddy bear? Can you move it again?
Somehow, the spirit moved the teddy bear and also casted orbs around the room with a few moving towards Dave. Dave became very spooked because of this and retreated into the brighter side of the room before wrapping up his work. He did not want to experience anything like that ever again. Jake and Faye are a father and daughter combination who had not been having the best times of their lives recently. We have actually showcased some of their clips in recent videos on the channel, but in short, their house was haunted and some deeply unsettling things were occurring. The primary incident was that they could both hear footsteps walking around the house, despite them both being sat down together, which frightened Faye a lot. Little did they know that this was not going to be the only time they would encounter an event like this.
There we go. And again. Hello? Oops, sorry. Is there anything you need? Real loud today. Hello? Do you need help? What the What the Hello? Hello? Was that you that rolled the ball? Can you play it again? Can you play it again? Can you play it a low key? Oh. See, this is where I draw the line, man, and y'all want me to be brave. Hello? Hello?
Just like last time, the sound of footsteps kicked off the clip, but this one became much creepier, much faster, from objects moving in Faye's room to literal whispers of help from the spirit. This was the tip of the iceberg for Jake, and he decided that he was going to sell the property once and for all. We have no clue how this ended up going, but what we do know is that the duo have not posted any paranormal clips since, leading me to believe that they are okay. On May the 27th of 2023, Russian ghost hunter Enzo decided that it would be a good idea to visit the house known as the scariest house in the world. The house gained this reputation due to several families suffering their fatalities in there, and it was rumored that their spirits made sure nobody else suffered the same fate as they did. They would supposedly aim to frighten visitors to ensure that they did not follow through with the house purchase. So, it is nice to know that the spirits in the video you are about to see had a great purpose for their acts. Take a look. The glass fell from the tabletop in the most unnatural way possible, and it was clear that no strings were attached to it. What made this clip ever more odd was that the glass survived the fall and did not smash, which should have been almost impossible with such momentum. It was pretty obvious that this falling was caused by a spirit, and Enzo was pleased that he obtained some more evidence for his clients. This ghost hunting mission turned out to be a success for both parties, especially for his bank account though. Now, the following video was supposed to be a fairly innocent one, but did not turn out in that manner. It was recorded in young Raj's living room, and he was unboxing a cool antique that he purchased and believed would be cool enough for some content. He was far from wrong, and the audience really enjoyed this box opening, but not for the reasons that Raj expected them to. In fact, not even a crystal ball operator could have told him what was about to happen, which shows just how much of a surprise it truly was.
Okay. I'm gonna be frank, it's pretty spooky as it's in itself, but this note just kind of made it like 10 times spookier, so I don't know, maybe kind of decipher the note for me, or let me know what you guys think about the note. I mean, would you guys have this sort of thing inside your house? I definitely would. I think it's pretty cool. Heck, I'm gonna probably start collecting all these antiques now because of it. I think that's pretty cool. I guess I forgot to kind of mention a little backstory or what's going on. Like, the old man ended up dying. I'm not sure how, but I'll probably try to grab that information from Dylan. So at some point. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for whatever video I'm making. Alright, see ya. Oh my god, I hate these things. Oh, damn. Ooh, that one really hurt.
Throughout the recording, the door in the background continued to open and close completely, going under the radar of Raj. I must say that even I failed to notice what was going on until looking at the comments, which is a rare occurrence for me. Regardless of whether Raj picked up on this event or not though, it would not take long for him to open his YouTube studio and discover the situation he found himself in. Little did he know that this was the first event of many. For the following weeks, Raj continued to experience hauntings in his room, and every single one happened behind that same door. The main issue was that it would open and close without any human interaction, which he failed to make any sense of. But when he discussed this with his roommates, they called him a liar. This sparked his idea to prove them wrong. One evening, he decided that he was going to sit down and continue to record the door until something happened, so that he could prove to them that it was happening. As well as this, he vowed to get up and search the room behind the door immediately to prove that the event was not fake. Have a watch.
I barely had a lot of sleep. A lot of shit's been going on, all the scratching, all the fucking everything. So I'm recording right now just to hopefully catch something, and if I do, I just want to prove to you guys that I'm actually alone. My roommates are all upstairs, so as soon as something's happening, like I'm just watching the friggin' door. As soon as something's happening, I'm booking it right inside there. I'm gonna film all the space, all like everything. I'm gonna close the door right behind me, and I'm gonna make sure that I want to show you guys that I'm actually alone in this. Oh shit! Yo, the lights like turning on and off, bro. The doorknob. I gotta show you guys I'm actually alone. Look at this bullshit. Look at this bullshit. Look. Turning on the light. As soon as I walk in. Okay. Closing the door. Yo. I'm telling you, anytime I walk in, there's like literally nobody. This has been going on for like a couple days now, dude. Look, watch. I'll turn on the light. Okay? Nobody. Behind the door, nobody. Okay? Going through this freaking door, which is really scary in here. Nobody. Guys, tell me what the fuck is going on, because I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm actually terrified right now.
Unlike the usual situations, the door was not opening alone and was rather rattling the door handle and flickering the lights. As promised, Raj stood up as quickly as he possibly could and searched not just one room, but every room on that side of the apartment to cancel all rumors that he faked his last clip. But he was not done, because he had no idea that him and this spirit would have one last dance. Roughly 2 days after that last incident, Raj was back in college, and he had a fantastic day. He only had to attend one lecture due to his other lecturer being sick, so he got home very early. But after arriving, I bet he wished he didn't beat his roommate there.
Oh, I just got home from work. Yeah, this is what I came home to. I'm literally only going to assume that my roommates is trying to pull a prank on me. I'm gonna quickly close this door behind me, just in case anything happens. What the fuck, dude? You serious? They're trying to pull a prank. This is one hell of a prank. Oh, hell nah. Hell to the no. What the fuck, dude? Everything. I'm out of here. Yep, I am done with this shit.
At first, he called rubbish and assumed that his roommate had done a silly prank on him. Not only was his roommate not the type of guy to do this, but it would have been extremely cruel due to what they had been through together. So even at this point, Raj wasn't really convinced. Regardless of how sure he was of this, though, all hopes were erased when the taps started turning themselves on around the property. This triggered the moment that Raj and his roommate Stanley requested a college dorm and were granted permission to move in. In the most recent video on this channel, we looked into the house of Jackson, who was a huge believer in religion and the spiritual world, also taking evil entities into consideration. In that video, he heard knocking sounds from his basement, and being a believer, instantly thought of spirits and demons. However, his audience were not so easily convinced. He received a ton of hate on that video, with people referring to him as a liar and a fraud. But it was only a matter of time before he fought back with another sighting, this time with undeniable proof of its legitimacy.
Alright, you guys are in luck. You wanted it, right? There it is. Ain't me knocking on shit. Ain't nobody down here, right? You fucking hear it. Now, you guys are gonna say, oh, it's somebody in there, it's an animal. Nope. Let's go. So who's down here? Nobody. What the fuck? Nobody down here? Nobody downstairs? I don't want to hear none of that bullshit about, oh, it's somebody. Ain't fucking nobody. We hear that shit every single night.
Unlike the last time around, this time he decided to search the entire basement to provide undeniable evidence that nothing was on the other side, and it worked. His audience apologized for their ignorance and wished him luck in banishing the ghost, with this being the most recent information we have obtained. Make sure to subscribe so you can receive updates if I get them. Clayton was in his home minding his own business when some strange noises forced him to step out of his way to solve things. It was roughly 2 p.m. in the afternoon when this happened, and Clayton explained after the incident that when the incident happened, a feeling of chills traveled through him like an electric shock. This is common for spiritual encounters, so take a look.
I don't know what's going on, but I'm hearing noise in there in the kitchen. Sound like I heard cabinet or something. I don't know what it is. Opening up or something. If there's a spirit here, let me know. Oh shit!
Somehow, an array of items started to move on the kitchen counter, and it was very clear that no visible presence was toying with them. This, paired with the fact that Clayton suddenly felt cold, confirmed that a spirit had been in the house that day. Fortunately, Clayton has not encountered anything since leading him to believe this was a one-time experience, but if something does happen, he will inform us, and I'll put it on the channel. The following video took place in a little girl's bedroom, and her parents had recently set up a security camera in there. You see, they were convinced that something was not right about their house, so in order to try and decipher what was wrong, they deployed CCTV all around the building. For a good few weeks, this method did nothing for them, and they were seriously considering moving due to experiencing an unsolvable problem. However, just as they were driving around searching for local houses that they could invest in, the father of the house received a notification from their daughter's room. In fear, he checked, and this is what he found. Through the lens of the camera, he could see that some unexplainable stuff was happening, and this allowed him to piece two and two together. The house felt weird because there was a haunting happening. With this information, he and his wife discussed how to move forward, and they unanimously decided to stay put. They contacted the local church for help with banishing the spirit, but did not want to run away with the fear that it would just come back again. Now, on this channel, we have seen several spirits, but one of the less common ones that we come across are mimics. These emotionally tormenting ghosts copy and paste another human's voice to lure their victims to a location where their life will become hell. So, on a side note, you should always be careful what voices you trust. But would you trust your own voice? You see, there is a very slim chance that a mimic will copy and paste your voice against you in order to cause stress and confusion, and this is what the person in the upcoming clip was forced to experience. This was a very interesting clip, so I highly advise that you have a watch.
I was watching Reels when I heard the knocking when I asked, "Who are you?" Then, in reply, I heard my own voice.
Mama?
Weirdly, the spirit continued to retort back to Abdullah, using his voice, and this frightened him for obvious reasons. Hearing someone else's voice from something that is not them would be scary enough, but hearing your own is on a whole other world of terrifying. Eventually, the craziness came to a halt, and Abdullah was finally able to get some rest. Regardless of this good night's sleep, though, the mimic would not go so easy on him next time, and he needed some preparation to cope with it. Not that he received any.
I was about to sleep and then this happened again. It was around 2 a.m. in the morning. That is my voice. If you don't know what is going on, so see my previous videos. They mimic my voice always, but they don't
This time around, the spirit was much more aggressive and emitted banging noises onto the door, as if it was physically trying to break in. In reality, its only goal was to strike fear into Abdullah, and it is safe to say that in this moment, it was experiencing success. Once the spirit finished its second night of tormenting Abdullah, he decided that enough was enough, and made a strong vow to himself. He vowed that if the mimic came to his door one more time, then he would open it to truly confirm that it was not someone else playing tricks. He hoped that it was his brother or someone along those lines, so that he knew he was safe, but he did not get what he wanted whatsoever.
So this happened again.
मुझे पता है Wings. अब मत करना
To his dismay, nobody was standing on the other side, and he was forced into a wave of acceptance. He knew that what he was experiencing was a haunting, but what he did not know was the second steps. In case he watches this video, make sure to comment some ideas for him. Ever since the recent surge in technological advancements, security cameras have become the norm, and almost every single firm has a bunch of them set up within their premises. The business that we are about to look into was no different, except the footage that their cameras caught was far from what you would expect. Most CCTV systems end up capturing nothing special, as it is rarer than you would think for a theft to happen in a store. However, on the odd occasion, these systems will catch criminals red-handed and serve a real purpose. The cameras in this video didn't match any of those descriptions and made the security team jump when checking them. The time was roughly 3 a.m. and the staff were drinking coffee, having a chat and staring at the camera monitors. It was at this moment that the craziest experience of both their lives happened. All the items in the room started to go bizarre, as if a monkey had been let loose in a room full of bananas. Everything in the corridor was caught dropping and sliding, and the guards were not brave enough to go and face whatever the cause was. Not that any of us would be. The mystery of what caused such an odd event remains unsolved, despite many internet theorists giving it their best attempt. Feel free to have some thoughts for yourself, but there is no logical answer that you can come up with. Abdul was not the type for adventures. He would spend most of his days working his 9 to 5 before coming home and getting some rest. But for once, this routine was about to change. It was 12 past midnight, and Abdul had followed the usual drill. Come home, eat dinner, and get some rest. You can't really go wrong with a plan like that. He had gotten to sleep pretty quickly compared to usual, and was in a deep slumber by 11 p.m. Little did he know that his slumber would be stopped just an hour later, and he was forced to investigate the banging noises that woke him up.
السلام عليكم ورګرو نیمه شپه ده نیمه څوک نشته کور کې یوازې یم او بام ډېر ډکېږي تاسو واورئ ښه اواز یا الله خیر یا الله خیر نیمه شپه ده نیمه شپه ورګرو تاسو وګورئ ور ډکېږي 2 بجې دي تاسو وګورئ یا الله خیر قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس يا الله خير يا الله خير سوقي لك سوقي يا الله خير بسم الله الله أكبر بسم الله الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله سوقي لك وګورئ مرګوري څوک هم نشته یا الله خیر یا الله خیر علي یا الله خیر یا الله خیر.
As if the repetitive banging was not spooky enough, a figure in the same of a grim reaper blocked the camera for the ending part of the clip. The strange thing is that Abdul did not see this outline in real life, and only noticed its presence after glancing at his phone screen. Immediately after noticing that it was there, Abdul sprinted away from the scene, but it was not enough to make him quit completely. This was his property after all, and he knew that he needed to show the poltergeist that this was the case. So he did. He strolled around the garden like a boss, and eventually came across the room of which he did not enter much. For some reason, he felt the urge to open the door and see its contents another time, so he did, only to be ambushed by instant regret.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله مرګرو پکې ته وګورئ لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله تاسو موږ دا کور ولې نه پرېږدئ څنګه دې یا الله خیر یا الله خیر لا إله إلا الله.
After opening the door, he was swarmed by objects moving alone, and he had no idea how to react to such a shock. Instinctively, his body forced him into flight mode, and he fled into his house for good. This time, he was too frightened to continue searching and just wanted the warmth of his own home. However, he was too far gone. He wasn't even allowed to enjoy this privilege.
السلام علیکم مرګرو ماښامي ټیم دی ماښامي او د جمعې شپه ده ها د جمعې شپه ده په کمره کې راله سم الله غستې تاسو وګورئ ها یا الله خیر یا الله خیر استغفر الله الله اکبر قل اعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس اله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس يا الله خير يا الله خير يا الله خير یا الله خیر یا الله خیر مرګرو ګورئ ها تاسو ورته وګورئ بسم الله دا ګورئ کمرې راله ګونډه راوانه کړې تاسو وګورئ ها یا خیر یا الله خیر یا الله خیر استغفر الله الله اکبر الله اکبر یا الله خیر
Just like outside, his house was riddled with paranormal activity, and this was a first-time experience for Abdul. He was a very religious man, so believed that Allah would protect him if he prayed that night, so he did. Only time will tell if it worked. The Cortez family were one of the most normal groups of people you could ever imagine. Nothing interesting ever happened in their life other than the odd outing, so they would be the last family you'd expect to see.